So we all have really unique audition stories, actually, that we've shared with each other. I auditioned, so I was living in New York at the time, so I got a self-tape audition from my manager and read the script, and just like one night in my apartment in Harlem, put myself on tape for the role, and then they sent it off to the folks in LA, and they really liked it, and I met with the director like a couple days, or maybe a week later, and then they actually made the offer for me to play the part from the self-tape. So I was really lucky. It was kind of like the fast track to Heather Chandler. And
Which never happened. That's only
Must be nice.
Melanie's incredible.
It, so.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, right. So yeah, that was my story.
How about you? How did you get involved?
So I had like the normal actor experience with auditioning. Then you do a callback, and then my final callback, which is called like your test, was actually a chemistry read, and I did it with James. And I remember we finished our audition, and then we walked into the hall, and we just looked at each other, and we were like, "You're so good!" Yeah. So I felt like even if I didn't get it, I was sure that he was the JD.
For sure.
But I could not have been JD to any other Veronica than you. I'm not even just saying that to be gross and cute, because we're live right now. That's real. And yeah, it was. I actually, every time I submitted to a new level of the audition process, I was like, I'm never going to hear about this job ever again. So it was really a pleasant surprise. And then, you know, I got to test, and really all of the actors who were there, obviously notably Grace, were just insanely talented. And I was just flattered to be there. But then I walked out, and like 10 minutes later, they called me and offered me the role. And then I called my mom, and I think I just like cried for 45 minutes.
That isn't a really important skill, not the crying part. I mean, that is valuable.
Too. Yeah,
that is valuable. But the ability to be like, never gonna hear from them again, and kind of just keep moving, right? Looking back, now that you did hear from them, you are in the show very much so. Do you recall anything that maybe was different, or something that you just didn't perceive at the time, but upon reflection, like, oh, maybe I didn't realize it, but they were calling me back. I could have seen it then that they were gonna call me back versus all those other ones.
To be honest, I think the thing that everyone thought I was crazy, everyone thought I was really legitimately criminally insane, because all that they had experienced of me was me doing the JD sides. And so I was like, why does everybody seem like slightly uncomfortable? They must just really not be feeling me as an actor. And then Jason, who's the showrunner, actually took me out in the hallway immediately after my last audition, and we had this conversation in which I was like, okay, you have to be as cool and impressive as you've ever been in your life, talking to Jason right now. It ended up being probably a really boring conversation for him. But that later, he told me after the fact, he was like, yeah, I was just checking that you weren't, you know, actually an insane person. I was just making sure you weren't gonna murder anybody in the cast. So yeah, I guess that moment was when I really shone.
Perfect. Brendan, Jasmine, I didn't get to hear your stories yet.
For me, I was at a friend's birthday party in LA, and I got a text from that friend like the next day, and he was like, "Hey, have you heard of the Heathers reboot?" And I was like, "That sounds like a horrible idea. Why are they remaking it? That's stupid." And he was like, "There's a really good part for you in it." And I was like, "I would love to hear more." And I guess Jason had been at that party, and they were having a hard time casting Heather Duke, and he was like, "We just need someone like that." And my friend Jordan was like, "Oh, that's Brendan. He's kind of funny." And then I went in, and when I did my test, I was the only person they brought in, and they gave me like a new side, which was really cute, and the side was just like, "Brendan, you got the part," and so that was nice. I also called my mom and wept. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I kind of had no time to weep. As Melanie had the fast track, I had the really slow track. I was in New York. It was like one of my first jobs or gigs that I was auditioning for, and I auditioned for it, and casting got back to us and kind of passed over me. They were like, "She's kind of older and she's not really funny, so pass." I was like, "Okay," so kind of forgot about it, right? And then maybe a couple of weeks later, my manager was like, "You'll never believe what we just got in email," and I was like, "Well, what is it?" And he's like, "Heather's, they want to do a callback with you." I was like, "Really? Okay." I think that was maybe a Wednesday, and the callback was over Skype with the showrunner, Jason McAuliffe, and Leslie Headland, who was the director. And I think that was Wednesday, and then Friday, they were like, "They want you. They want to fly you out to LA on Saturday." Okay, let's go. And that was it.